Yoshi P is a bit upset. Maybe mad isn't the word I should be using exactly, but he is disappointed in the 14 player base. This came from the most recent episode of the Radio Mog Station, which is basically a podcast where the devs of 14 talk with actors and influencers. So basically it's like a podcast version of the live letter where people would just talk on there without giving us like real concrete information that like, yes, this will be happening next update, like a live letter would. On this particular episode that happened around January 10th, Yoshi P went on to talk about how he's not happy with the player base that's being rude towards developers. Also, please keep in mind that Yoshi is referring to the JP player base in this situation, so us English-speaking players, we're in the clear for now, but let's not make him upset because it's really sad to see an upset Yoshi P. There are some players on the JP side that pretty much started verbally abusing the developers of 14. And I just want to remind all you guys that we just won the award for like best community on like a few platforms. Let's not ruin it for us, please. Here's a quote from Yoshi P during the episode, and keep in mind that this is a third-party translation. There was no official translation, so thank you to whoever translated this. And it reads, "Really, it's just one thing here. Of course, I'm thankful and grateful for players to tell us that we should do this or this should be that and whatnot, but verbal abuses are something we wish it can stop. It results in the staff members getting gradually hurt, and especially evident when the staff members work so hard on it. And it doesn't help anyone, neither the staff members nor the players either." So why were these players verbally abusing the devs? A good portion of this comes from the JP Samurai players who are not happy with the current status of their job. Something about how samurais have to do a bit more casting than before, and they're not happy with that. They are even more upset after last week's update for the job changes, how it did pretty much little to no changes for their job that they wanted to see, and they pretty much went further and got mad about it. The Japanese players went on the 14 forums where they gave their feedback and criticism on how they would like their job to be played and how they're not happy with it, but they pretty much came out upset because they felt like they were being ignored by the dev. So I just want to quickly say to all the Japanese samurai players out there, please listen carefully. Start playing a real DPS job. Alright, jokes aside. This was just one portion of the whole entire players getting mad at the developers. There is a few instances where players were actually getting upset with Yoshi P and the team. I remember actually a few months back when they were dropping Endwalker and they had to say, you know, we have to delay Endwalker. That actually got a few people upset in the JP community. They actually went online and actually started like throwing insults and, you know, pretty much saying what Yoshi P is saying to not do to a developer ever. So this isn't just like a one-time thing, but there's been many instances, and I guess Yoshi P wanted to come out and just say like, hey, please don't do this. Devs are people. They're not robots. And, you know, let's not forget, at the end of the day, this is a video game, and, you know, I get it. I do love this game, and I'm sure if there was changes to a job that I liked and, you know, that made me upset, I would get mad too, but I probably would be throwing verbal abuse at developers, because that's just not cool. And you know, I just want to say that I did scour the forum to see if there was any real hard evidence of what these people were saying, but, you know, if Big Man Y had to come out here and tell everybody, yeah, this isn't cool, don't do this, there is a reason why he had to do that, and I'm taking his word for it. And I just want to also, you know, really put out there that it's not all of the JP player base. It's actually, you know, I want to hopefully say that it's probably a few bunch that are the vocal minority that is just really saying stuff out there that's getting to developers at this point. And, you know, and as a content creator, I've seen a lot of positive comments, which are great, but then sometimes there'll be some negative ones that just kind of stick to you and get to you a little bit. And that's kind of what I feel like these devs are facing here. Although they receive a lot of love and, you know, respect from everybody that plays 14, there's a few that really goes above and beyond to make them feel like they're not really great people, and that sucks. Also, do want to pull from the translated script that Yoshi said this: just because I didn't mention your job doesn't mean that they won't get adjusted, and we will definitely look into adjusting them based on feedback given. Your job will not be neglected, and keep on giving feedbacks in the official forums as long as you do it politely. The main thing here is that you can give constructive criticism. It helps people grow to be better at what they're doing. We're not saying you can't criticize them. However, just don't go past that and start hurling mean things at developers or just anybody in general who don't really deserve it. And this is something I just kind of want to put out myself, but I've worked alongside with developers before. Not specifically game devs, but, you know, just devs in general. And it's so frustrating to see these devs get treated like they're robots and like they're sponges for people just to, you know, hurl insults at. At the end of the day, developers are just like us. People. Some people can definitely handle insults better than others, but, you know, just remember, some people are a little bit more fragile, so keep that in mind. And I like to think that these people love the game as much as we do, and they want to continue making this game as great as possible. But the second we get devs who are straight up annoyed with the player base, or, you know, start to resent the player base, it takes a turn for the nasty for everyone, so that's not good. While I was on the JP forums for the, samurai section of it, I did notice a lot of samurai players were just genuinely upset. They weren't hurling, hopefully from the translated Google Translate, they weren't hurling insults, but they were just upset at the changes. But I also just want to remind people that, forums are a place for discussion. Not everything that happens in forums will be taken seriously and considered by developers. But always have dialogue. It's always important to talk about how you feel about certain things, because change will come from that. You just gotta have faith in the devs one day when they have time to look at those changes and consider it, and then hopefully those things will work out in your favor. Just don't start abusing them, and then we'll be perfect. One last thing before I end this video is from Yoshi P that had this request from pretty much everybody, not just the JP player base. So I only have one request to every player out there. Please imagine that you're speaking face to face with a developer whom you may not know his name nor face, and imagine how they feel before sending your feedback over. And I'll be happy if people can do so politely. People need to have a bit more empathy. Empathy must go both ways, and I'm sure if we show the devs that, hey, we're not happy about this in a healthy manner, they'll look at it and be like, okay, we hear you, we're working on it. And also, please remember, developers cannot just bust an emergency hotfix for every single thing you want. It takes time for updates. They just can't drop everything for a small change. Give them time. They have to consider what needs to be fixed and what doesn't need to be fixed, and they'll get to you. Have faith in the developers. That's all I'm asking for here. The 14 developers have not steered us terribly wrong yet, I like to say. So just have faith, and good things will come. I promise you that. I know we're definitely not the mean players that Yoshi P is referring to, but let's just take this as a, example to not be like this and just do better for Yoshi P's sake. Let's not upset our boy Yoshi in the future. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Yo, while we're on the subject of, just 14, I haven't forgotten about female Hrothgars. I want to see the baddest female Hrothgar made 14. Look, I don't have too many requests from you guys on the team, but I want to see female Hrothgar. I'm talking, I want to see a butt slider on this big, beautiful woman. Big boobs, big ass. I'm sorry, Y'shtola, you have to hear all that, but I want to find somebody that just makes me forget about Y'shtola. That's all I want to see. That's the only request I have. Usually when I see job changes, I'm pretty whatever about it, but I just want to see something really cool from this team soon.